So we're going to start with 0. Now, on a separate sheet of paper, do the work so that you can use this on your next test. Because if there's any other writing on this other than...
To get my child a piece of paper. I came so unprepared, it's not even funny.
So if you have any other writing on here other than the answers that go in the boxes, I won't let you use this for the test. So make sure that you do all this extra work that we're going to do on a separate sheet of paper. So first off, to go from degrees to radians, which 0 is pretty easy, but what you do is you multiply the degrees by pi over 180. But it doesn't really matter because 0 is 0. So the radians are 0. And then I don't know why cosine's first, but it is. So from there, we're trying to find cosine, sine, tangent, all those. Well, since it's one of the angles that land directly on, the x or y axes, then we need to use a unit circle. So 0 degrees is right here, and that's at the point 1, 0 for a unit circle. If it was 90 degrees, or pi over 2, it would be here, and that of course the point 0, 1, and so on. So for 0, if we're doing, it said cosine first, but cosine is always the x-coordinate on a unit circle. So cosine of 0 is 1. Sine of 0 is always, on the unit circle is always the y-coordinate. So cosine is the x, sine is the y. So y is 0. And then remember, tangent is sine over cosine, right? So if you remember that, that would be y over x. So tangent would be 0 over 1. So that's just 0. Put those in. So I have 1, 0, 0. So cosecant is the reciprocal of what? Sine. So that would be 1 over 0 or undefined. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So it was 1 over 1. When I flip it, it's still 1 over 1. Cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. So instead of 0 over 1, it's 1 over 0. So it's undefined as well. And the next one I'm going to skip ahead to is 150 degrees. Oops, did not mean to do that. So again, don't forget, don't write on this other than the answers.
Do you know what day the test is going to be on?
No. I'll let you know when I know. I haven't done that. I should today. Okay, tangent of 150. All right. 150 degrees. Remember, it starts here. Oh, first we need to change it to degrees, or to radians, sorry. So pi over 180, and I don't want you to use a calculator with any of this because I want these in exact values. So the zeros will cancel, because that's like dividing by 10. What else can I divide by 15 and 18? 30. Okay, I would say 3 because I already divided the 10s. But yeah, 5 and 6. So I have 5 pi over 6. 150, that's the same thing as 5 pi over 6. So this will really help you, I think. Test. Okay, so now I'm going around to 150. It should be about right there. So what angle is the reference angle? 30. Very good. So across from the 30 is 1. Across from the 60, the other side, is square root of 3, but it's negative because I've gone to the left. And the hypotenuse is 2. Remember SOHCAHTOA. So cosine is what over what? Adjacent over hypotenuse. So that is negative square root of 3 over 2. Sine is 150, or sine of 150. What would that be?
Opposite over hypotenuse.
So that's what?
1 over.
Yep, 1/2. And tangent of 150?
Opposite over adjacent.
So it's 1 over negative square root of 3, right? Now, for practice, on these, I don't want you to leave the square root on the bottom. Just on these, just while you're filling out this sheet, because it's going to help on the multiple choice. So how do we get rid of the square root on the bottom? Multiply by the square root that's on the bottom. So we multiply by the square root of 3 on top and bottom. So we end up with square root of 3 over 3. And then I'm going to put the negative with the top, but you can put it wherever you want to. Oh, I actually forgot what it was. Negative square root of 3 over 2, 1/2. Negative square root of 3 over 2, 1/2. And negative square root of 3 over 3. Now the next one is cosecant. Cosecant is when I flip sign, so that's easy enough, it's just 2. But when I flip cosine, it's 2 over the square root of 3, it's still negative. And I said on these, I don't want square roots on the bottom. So what would I do? Yeah, multiply top and bottom by the square root of 3. So you get negative 2 square root of 3 over 3. Good. Now in the next one, I'm going to flip my original. Yeah, flip that one instead of the one that I put the square root on the bottom. That way I don't have to do it. And it's just negative square root of 3. If you flipped the other one and you multiplied by the square root of 3 on top and bottom, it would still work out. Get negative 3 square root of 3 over 3. 3's a cancel. Still get negative square root of 3.